It's one of the best domestic thrillers I have read till date. It's so good. I think fans of Desperate Housewives will love this book. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Volke. You should definitely stick around because obviously you like books and I talk about books. Just stick around by liking and subscribing to my channel so you get notified when there's a book you just have to hear about. I recently got to learn about Barbara Abel because her book Mother's Instincts, which was translated to English for the first time ever, got a major screen adaptation starring Anne Hathaway and Jessica Chastain. I picked up the book because of this movie. Mother's Instinct is one of those thriller books where you keep asking yourself what happens next, because it's such a nice build-up. First of all, we see these families, their neighbors, and their houses are separated by this hedge. They basically even share a wall. It's that serious. So on one side we have Letitia, her husband David, and her little son Milo. The other side we have Tiffany, Sylvain, and Maxim. It's perfect friendship. Their sons are age mates, their wives are friends. The men have a relationship as well. Everything was going just right. Until one day, Letitia was in her yard sunbathing and she noticed her neighbor's son leaning out of a window, an open window. And this boy was not in school because he was sick. So she kept telling him to go back into the house. You know, he's a child, he's sick. He kept saying that he wants some air and he's feeling very hot. So that hedge was the stumbling block for Letitia to get over. So she had to run around. She kept calling for her friend Tiffany, but Tiffany could not hear. Before the women got there, the accident already happened. Maxim fell to his death. This will naturally test the strongest of bonds. Tiffany's out of her mind with grief, and she's blaming her friend Letitia. She wished that Letitia did more to save her son. So this put a strain in their relationship. They didn't even invite Maxim's best friend Milo to his funeral. It was just crazy, but they still went anyway. And there was this chaos that happened in the funeral. It was just like a dark cloud that just fell in this quiet relationship. However, they got past it. They decided to still mend that broken relationship and just keep moving. But however, there were some occurrences that happened that made Letitia start to question that, wait a minute, is Stefan trying to get back at me? Because she blames me for her son's death. So is she trying to get back at me by taking my son's own life? But the occurrences that Letitia was suspecting, her husband David was asking the major question that, okay, don't you think it's a coincidence here and you're just being paranoid? But Letitia is saying no. So this put a straining relationship further. The question of the day is, was Letitia really right? Or was she just imagining things? While I was getting the climax of the book, I held my breath. I'm not lie, at a point this book was predictable. But the writer did a good job making you invested in the characters that you want to rewrite the story yourself. You already know what's going to happen, but you just say, no, I do not want that to happen for these people. So while you're reading the climax of the book, your heart is pounding out of your chest. You're at the edge of your seat. You're just wishing that things happened differently. But sadly, it didn't happen differently. Apart from this tragic accident, I like how the book was layered. First of all, Tiffany and Sylvain, how they met was another crazy explosive secret in this book. I thought that this explosive secret is going to be hammered on a lot in the book, but it was not. It served as a doorway to something much bigger. Sylvain had to go with Tiffany's crazy plan to actually replace their son with their friend and neighbor's son. This story makes me just question everything. It just really reiterates that thing that you don't really know people, you don't really know your neighbors, you don't really know who they are. Because I know that grief is a serious thing. If I were in Letitia's shoes, I think I would have done more to save the little boy. I know that Letitia did her best, what she could, to save this boy. But for me, I don't think she did her best enough. I was on Tiffany's side that you would have done more. Go through that head, get the scratches as long as you saved this little boy. I understand Tiffany blaming Letitia in that aspect. And if I were Letitia and her family, I would have moved as well. I understand that Letitia had ties to this house that she was in because This was actually her childhood home, so she did not want to give it up. But there was already a tragedy that happened. I think that David and Letitia should have moved immediately. Maybe find somewhere else, because it's even going to be better for their son Milo. He lost his best friend. He lost his godfather. So it'll be nicer that they just moved from that neighborhood, get a fresh start. He'll meet new people, meet new friends. I think the teacher was selfish in that part about holding on to the house, because even David told them, like, okay, let's move. And she was like, no, I'm not moving. That was when paranoia already kicked in, when she was already suspecting her ex-friend Tiffany so much. So I think that a lot of things, that the tragedy that happened at the end of the book could have been avoided. I liked how it ended, especially. I know that I said that I was holding my breath, saying no, I don't know how I do not want this book to end that way. But I think that Barbara Abel expertly ended this book so well, especially where they had Tiffany and Milo went to the therapist's office, and therapist is saying, oh my god, he's such a lucky little boy, not knowing that a perfect murder just happened here. And to me, it's crazy that Steven really went through with this thing. But the author already showed us how far Steven would go to protect the people he loves. So it is crazy. I think this is like the best book I've read so far this year. I've not read a lot of thrillers though, but I really like this book. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. Brilliant. And now I get to see the movie. If you have not read this book before, I highly recommend it. And if you have read this book, let me know what you think. What part of the book do you think was lagging? What would you have done differently if you were a character in this book? And which of the characters did you like so much? I really felt bad for Davy. I think his story would have gone differently. I hoped and I wish things went differently, honestly, for both parties. So yes, I really like this book, Mother's Instinct. It's a good book.